This is the Ask the Money Lady radio show, and I'm Christine Ibbotson. Thank you for joining me today. Let me start by asking you a question today. Have you ever looked at the story of your life and decided you wanted a different one? Oftentimes, a new story to a new life is right in front of you, but for whatever reason, we can't see it, we can't feel it, and we certainly can't imagine making a change. Honestly, I guarantee that even changing the course of your future just a little, well, it will always bring new opportunities that you most likely could never have imagined. Maybe a new career, new friends, more money, more love. It's all there for those who want a different story. Now, of course, this all sounds great, but the reality is we never realize we want or even need a new life story until we have usually hit rock bottom. Most people use the phrase rock bottom with addictions or alcoholism. However, this can happen with a financial failure, career failure, or a personal failure. Maybe even an injury, a trauma, divorce, or a death. It doesn't matter when this trauma happened. It could have happened decades ago, and you may have been trying to deal with it for years. Struggling with anxiety and depression causes everyone to eventually hit rock bottom, which essentially means you have finally gotten to the point that you are now sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. Here's a quote from an Italian poet, Dante Alighieri, from the year 1265. Now, he said, "The path to paradise begins in hell." Now, I read you this quote because it should be a realization that everyone from the dawn of time has had to deal with suffering, and for some, the path you must walk to get to paradise may indeed take you through hell first. I, too, had to hit rock bottom to find my true calling and begin my journey to provide financial literacy to Canadians. It was something I never considered doing, but I'm so glad I did. It was a path I could never have imagined, and only by being in my proverbial Dante hell did I see an opportunity for change. Too often, we tend to revel in our sad life stories, and sometimes we even get an emotional charge out of how unfair life is to us and how great we are for keeping up the struggle. Of course, saying to others, "We've had to do this against all odds," we whine and complain to people about being a survivor, and we kind of love it when we get comforted. You poor thing, how do you ever manage? Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't have our pity parties. I had a pity party for far too long. Oftentimes, this is exactly what we need to deal with our sorrow, having a pity party. But I just don't want you to keep this party going forever. Remember, the greatest gift we have is the one we have often forgot. We do have a choice. You can always choose a different direction in life. Now, I'm not saying you have to forget your past suffering. We all know that we have come to this moment in our story based on all the things, good or bad, that we've been through over the years. Instead, I want you to try to focus on what your future story will look like from this moment onward. What choices will you make that will change your experiences and bring you closer to the life you want to live? Negative feelings create negative attitudes, and they attract negative people. But when you decide to make a change, being positive creates feelings of happiness. And, of course, this attracts other happy people, as well as successful people with opportunities and connections for you. And oftentimes, these new connections bring with them new choices or personal advancements that help you further your story. Here's how to get started. You want to first start with creating positive affirmations that you can say out loud to yourself on a daily basis and keep saying them over and over every single day. And I know this sounds kind of quirky, but it does honestly work. I've done it myself. Write down a script that you read to yourself every morning and anytime you're feeling discouraged. Providing yourself with positive self-talk scientifically guarantees to make you happier and more successful in everything you do. Now, don't just get started and then stop after a few days. This has to be a consistent new habit that you do every single day to build up your inner confidence and strength to cope with whatever life throws at you in the near future to knock you off your game. It must be a daily habit, like brushing your teeth. You know that if you don't do this 5-minute chore every day, well, you're not going to have any teeth left. And if you don't build up your confidence through positive intentions, you won't change your life for the better. The next step is to change your identity. Now, I can hear you all saying, that crazy chick, what is she talking about? Change my identity? That's impossible. Okay, stay with me here. Let me explain. Most people walk through life blindly, following the norms that were arbitrarily attached to their identity. They might say, oh, I'm terrible with directions, or, oh, I'm not good with technology, or I'm just not a morning person. Really? Why do we give ourselves these labels and live up to them every single day? You need to change your identity, and this needs to be a new habit that you create. Simply wanting more money but having the habits of a spender will never make you wealthy. You may want to be thin and healthy, but if you continue to prioritize comfort over exercise and eating more than you should, you will continue to be overweight and unhealthy. There are so many people, myself included, that write down our hopes and dreams. We create goals and future targets, even creating a game plan on how to achieve it. We start our new plan with enthusiasm, believing that we will do it this time out of sheer mindful willpower, only to be devastated a few weeks later when we once again have succumbed to failure and find ourselves kind of slipping back into our comfortable self-destructive habits. So, right now, how can you make meaningful changes for the better? You must change your identity. To really stick to something and create a new habit, it must become part of your identity. Start acting like the type of person you wish to be. Let me give you an example. If you have decided that you want to quit smoking and someone offers you a cigarette, do you say, no thanks, I'm trying to quit? Or do you say, no thanks, I don't smoke? You see, changing your identity to be a non-smoker signals a shift in your thought process and makes you more apt to become who you believe you are, which is now a non-smoker. To change who you are, you must first change the way you talk to yourself, but also the way that the world sees you. Now, this is going to feel awkward at first, but becoming the best version of yourself, well, that's not easy. And there's an awful lot of people who should try to be, but you can't change the world. You can only change you. And it won't be easy for you to do. This requires you to change and expand your beliefs, to learn more, read more, surround yourself with good people, and most of all, focus not on what you want to achieve, but rather on who you wish to become. Albert Einstein's definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. How many times do we do this? Oh my goodness. So we all need to stop the insanity, shake things up a little and do things different. If you believe in the theory of cause and effect, that things happen for a reason, you must agree that everything you have done in your past has led you here, right now, where you are today. So I ask you, what are you going to do with that knowledge? You probably know a different direction to go, one that is more suited to you. Yet, for whatever reason, you continue to deny yourself the opportunity to pursue it. Now, is it fear holding you back? Could you remove yourself from your current situation to start new somewhere else? If you know you need to go in a different direction to be happy, then make this change today for you. Don't choose familiar pain over future happiness. Change things for yourself. You know you're the only one who can. Put all your efforts into self-love and a better life. You really do have the power to make a change. Thanks for listening in today. I'm Christine Ibbotson. If you have a money question that you would like answered, please send me an email through my website at askthemoneylady.ca. Join me next time when we'll talk about more questions that always matter to today's Canadians.